Hey guys, Nick here in front of the episode, just with a special announcement. First things first, just want to thank you guys so much for listening and showing support for the podcast. It's been a real fun time to make, record, and produce. So it's been real good. But I know some of you have that burning question, Nick. You and Travis, while good with your insightful commentary and just rugged good looks, I'm assuming. I don't know. I can't just assume your thoughts. I feel like I sound pretty handsome. But listening to you guys on the podcast is just not enough of an outlet for my love of Stand Against Evil. Hurtful. I mean, but straightforward and honest, and I like that. And you know what? I understand. I really do. And don't worry, there is a place you guys can go to share your love for Stand Against Evil and with like-minded individuals, and that place is the Stand Against Evil Fan Club. You can find them on their Facebook page in either the group Stand Against Evil Fan Club or on the Stand Against Evil fan page. And, check out some of the stuff they're doing over there. They do some pretty fun stuff like, trivia on the weekends, which is, really cool. It's kind of like, I think they used to do puzzles, but apparently that the Owls were just not having it. And they're a big part of that fan club. I'm not sure. I read that on the internet, so it must be true. Also, you can follow them at their Twitter, which is at Stand Against Evil Fan. And you can just, follow along. I think they got some really cool videos along as well. I watched some couple that were like some lost episodes of a crossover between Ash versus the Evil Dead with Stand Against Evil. So it was some really cool stuff over there. You guys should maybe give it a look-see. Other than that, I think we just get on with the episode. See you later, guys. We're down another, we're one less list this time again, Travis.
Yes, we were less for it, of course.
You know who we could ask about this episode? Munchkins.
Munchkins, of course.
Munchkins.
So, we'll put your hands across the table and we have to have our seance now.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk to the Munchkins.
They're all gone now.
They're all gone. No one is representing the Lollipop Kill. Who's representing them, Travis?
The Chumbawambas.
Well,
there's a hostile takeover. Blood everywhere.
Munchkin on Munchkin Carnage. Welcome to Pot Against Evil. And who is representing the Lollipop Guild on this one? Why, it's me, Nick the Merc with a mic, and my fellow co-host here, God of the Pod,
Travis.
Oh, wow, this was a weird highlight for Munchkins in this episode for Pot Against Evil.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those of you just tuning in, which is weird, it's a sequential show about where we cover a TV show called Stand Against Evil every episode, and this is episode 5. It'd be weird if you're just tuning in.
I mean, whatever. You do you, people. I mean,
yeah, whatever.
Not judging.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to listen to the other ones. It's fine. Maybe you don't even know who Les is. That's totally cool.
We're just gonna keep talking about a person who's not here anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but we are talking today about episode 5. Ouija Bored. It's bored with B-O-R-E-D.
Yes, pun, got it.
Got it. Yes. Okay. Man, I love these titles. Have I mentioned? I've mentioned it every episode, haven't I?
Pretty sure you have.
I love these titles. Well, I should also mention that if you love these titles as well, and you love us covering these episodes, that you could really help us out if you would give us a review on iTunes, if you possibly could give us one of those 5-star reviews, and maybe a little write a little something in there. Write your own Munchkin fanfic or whatever it is, or what do you really want to ask Munchkins? Because apparently that's popular dead people to ask. I'm trying to remember how this one opens.
It opens with a flashback, because a lot of these episodes do.
Yes, a lot of the episodes do open with a flashback of what was happening months ago.
Mm-hmm. And it always seems to be 6 months ago, too.
This is basically what... I like that it's kind of directly referencing, like, this is when Claire was still active, when stuff was still going on. This is the first time we see Claire.
We do indeed.
Because we see a little black plant that a mysterious hooded woman comes out to immediately murder.
Mm-hmm.
And I go like, no, Audrey too, no. But then I think about the end of Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm like, actually, no, that probably solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
It's probably good. I do like her, like, Buffy outfit or whatever. Like, not really Buffy, but her supernatural fighting outfit. It's like this robe thing. And she fights with this, what can only be described as some sort of mystic spade. Like,
yeah,
you saw that?
Yeah,
like
it looks like a spade.
It's like a trowel, or like it's a gardening spade.
I mean, she was digging up a plant, technically.
Right. But it's like, it's mystical, and I was just like, that's such a specific way. It must be for this one scenario and nothing else. That's and gouging out the eyes of demons, because she does that later.
Right.
This is our first, real good look at Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen her in pictures and stuff before, but this is our first look at her. She actually gets, some on-screen time here. I like her actress. She's played by Susan Williams.
Okay.
You might not recognize her, but she's in a lot of genre stuff. She's one of
those people that looks familiar, but
she was in The Accountant.
Okay.
As one of the, she was one of the older women that got. I'm not sure if she was one that John Bernthal ran into when he was doing stuff. I can't remember The Accountant specifically. It's been a while. But she's been in a lot of genre shows. She was in Powers, that awful superhero PlayStation show. She was in Army Wives, Banshee, Homeland. She was even in One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek. Both of them.
Wow.
All the teen angst. Wow. She does a really good turn here as Claire. Because she only gets like maybe 2 lines.
Mm.
But I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is Claire. This is about, like, when you picture Claire in like in kind of like an older version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or
a Buffy who actually survives all the way through.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. Like, this is about what I picture.
Yeah.
And she gets confronted after she kills the plant. She gets confronted in this alley, and I almost expect the witch to mug her, or for her to walk across and see like, oh, Batman's parents are getting murdered in the other alley. Like, it's that
crime street.
It's crime alley, dude. It's like, it's got that mist and steam that seems to be in every alleyway, everywhere, even if it's connected to a sewer system or not. Like, what is with all these? It's all the steam in the alleyway.
It's actually the alleyway next to the steampunk realm.
Steampunk realm.
Yep.
That's it. That's where it's coming from. It's seeping in from the other dimension.
It is.
You know what? You're onto something.
I think I am.
So Claire stabs this bitch in the eye, which is pretty rad. It's a pretty good opening.
Mysticism.
Yeah. Because the witch is like, we're tired of your interference. Yeah. Yeah. And what does Claire say? She says, yeah, what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. I do like she's so nonchalant about it, especially when she has a heart attack like 3 seconds later.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it's weird because
it's
for
such
me,
a human way to die.
So because this is my second time viewing it. This is your first time seeing it. Mm-hmm. You've known Claire was dead from the start of the episode.
It's kind of hard to miss.
So it's not.
I mean, spoiler to people who are coming into this episode 5.
Yeah. Sorry, that's super important. So how does it play for you? Because it still strikes me as a weird chord to see. Maybe it's because I pictured her so much as like an older version of Buffy. Mm-hmm. It seems to me like, wow, I expected her to die. I don't know, in some way that's, I guess it makes sense because no one was questioning how she died at the funeral. Like, the heart attack was...
It's true.
Like, she wasn't cut up or, like, lost in a sword battle or anything like that.
But it's still just such a human way to die that it's almost kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like if Buffy got pneumonia, or, like, Ash got the measles.
Or brain cancer.
or something like that. And it's just, I don't know, like, on one level I kind of like it because it just shows, like, how vulnerable even the toughest people are because they're still humans and they still have human limitations. On the other hand, it just seems so like, man, we're about to get this awesome rad action sequence to show like, oh, Claire really was whooping ass. And then suddenly like, nope, she's completely gone because we only got 22 minutes and we got to get the fuck on with this.
True.
So yeah, then we get our opening sequence. After the witch dances off. She does this little dance, too.
She does. And
this little mocking dance.
You can guarantee that she is going to be the Spike of this universe, where she's like, I totally taking credit for that.
Yeah, I'm taking like that.
I'm the one that killed her.
That was my cred. Mine on that one. Yeah, so we open up after of course, the credits. We open up on Evie coming in. She gives a little yawn. as she gets out of her car, and she finds the evil flower.
Yes.
And she sticks her face right over it.
Just like, Evie, have some self-preservation, woman.
So this is my only point in the episode where I'm annoyed with Evie, because otherwise she's actually pretty proactive in this episode. She is very on the ball. She is facilitating the plot. She is doing all the things she needs to be doing. But in that first 5 minutes, I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, no, don't do that. And, of course, it doesn't, like, spray knockout gas on her, even though it could have easily done that.
Yep. But she says, like, it stinks. I'm like, yeah, but it's not like one of those Rafflesia flowers, so kill it. Like, seriously, it's not one of those, like, weird corpse flowers. So obviously it's something bad. You should probably murder it. But she doesn't even try.
I don't know, take a shot at it. I mean...
it wouldn't have worked, and we know that later, but you could have tried.
So, and we get the continued yawning. Everyone gets a yawn in this episode. Mm-hmm. So, and the next yawn we get is Deputy Drinkwater. So Deputy Drinkwater, he gets what I think is the best yawn. I don't know. We're going to do yawn judging in this episode.
Well, I don't think we can do worst person award this time.
Most vile person is kind of be up for grabs. I don't know. We might give it near the end. I might have to deliberate on it a little bit because Drinkwater is...
actually, no. Hitler shows up in this episode. He gets a hands down.
Hitler comes out of nowhere for the steal. Oh my god!
Like even if he's used for comedic effect, Hitler still shows up in the episode.
Okay, so we have a most vile person award, but we'll get there. We'll get to that point.
It's a default.
So Drinkwater gets the biggest yawn, like the most epic of yawns, to the point where I was watching. I'm like, I want to yawn like 3 or 4 times after seeing that.
True.
He gives surprisingly, pretty straightforward exposition, and it's like, oh, this is
there's flowers here, and here.
Yeah, he's just explaining how these flowers have shown up at other places and they smell bad. I think, like the worst thing he does in this episode is he's like, well, yeah, I guess we're both kind of tired. You want to sneak some of the old white lady in the evidence room? And I'm just like, oh wait, you call cocaine white lady?
Yeah.
Gross.
Whatever.
But not nearly as gross as usual,
Yeah, then all he says is like, you can't prove I was back there, which is like a pretty standard line. It's not really even gross.
I mean, if he was a normal person, be like, oh, you druggy fool or something, but it's like, it's pretty tame for Drinkwater levels. It barely registers on measure your temperature with my disco thermometer. Like, is that being probably the tip top?
Mm-hmm. No, like, it's almost more jarring the fact that, that was just almost a normal, like, reaction. Huh.
Well, he usually has a good reaction, too, when they, of course, they draw out all the locations of the flowers. And, of course, as soon as she starts drawing, she's drawing a pentagram.
Yeah, it's a guarantee.
It's almost like how shorthand that is like, oh, there's a bunch of locations on a map and we're going to draw them connected together. It's almost like you'd almost expect her to stop halfway through like, oh, this is a pentagram, whatever. Like,
no, she keeps going.
It always draws a pentagram. It never draws anything else.
No, someday it's going to draw a flower.
Yeah, and I do like when she leaves, like, when she's like, aha, here's the central location. I think I know where we need to go for answers. And I'm like, really? Did you need to draw on the map for that? Or why don't you just go where you always get answers?
Right.
Which is Claire's library of, here's all the answers to all the weird shit. And I like Drinkwater's next response, like, maybe we shouldn't hang that in the police station, like, leave that hanging up there. That seems like it might be bad for PR. Like, just like having this pentagram just hanging in the police station.
Considering this town, it might not be the weirdest thing, so.
No, I doubt anyone would notice. I don't think we've ever seen anyone in the police station other than Drinkwater, Stan, and Evie.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I think we see a couple of demons in there, but I don't know if we actually see any actual people.
The witch comes in there.
Does anyone actually deliver any actual complaints at all? Like,
they probably just know better, because would you really bother complaining to Stan?
No.
Exactly.
well, if I want to get my ass chewed out for a minute, like I might, if I needed to for legal purposes, I would call him to claim on my insurance that I called the local police.
Yeah.
I would never go down there in person.
Might be just good if you're bored for a day. Like, I want to see how Stan's going to react to this. Let's see some mannerisms go on here.
But then, yeah, I guess he does, Drinkwater does get a line again about how the flower smells like the pillow they found in Solitary. The one with the clown drawn on it. Which is not really anything that's weird about Drinkwater. That's just something he stated that they found.
That's just something that happened. It's like, yeah, that's weird.
So by technical qualifications, he really gets out of this episode pretty clean.
He does. Well, besides the Coke mustache.
Clean for he's still Drinkwater. Like we're still judging on a scale.
Very
let's be
steep
honest.
Scale.
Let's be honest here. So I mean, we come in on Stan and Denise, and they both get yawns too. Mm-hmm. They're pretty impressive. I still think Drinkwater had the best one. I don't know. Where'd your vote go?
Yeah, he does, except for Stan doesn't have the greatest yawn, but it's obviously worse that he's tired because he gets crankier when he's tired.
Man, he's such a little bitch. Like, all he wants to do is watch his World War II documentary, and that is it. He's just like, hey, Denise, you want to go get the fucking door or whatever? Like, and he's all passive aggressive, even more so than usual. And, you know, Evie is out looking for answers up in Claire's room. She's trying to like, oh man, I wish I could talk to Claire. Ooh, let's hold a seance.
Mm-hmm. Well, first before that, we go over a slightly important thing with Stan, which is he discusses that him and Claire both had one rule that could not be broken.
Yes. Very specific.
Yes.
It was very specific demand. For some reason, I think Stan put it, whenever you crack an egg, after noon,
the woman gets like all teeth.
That woman, she flipped out, she went crazy.
But hey,
that's a weird thing.
It really is.
I love breakfast for dinner. I don't know what Claire's talking about. Like, I mean,
I usually don't eat breakfast for dinner, dude.
Well, my sleep schedule is all messed up.
It's true. So I mean, your dinner is usually my breakfast anyway.
It's always breakfast for dinner for me.
Irrelevant.
I will eat a breakfast burrito any time of day. I do not care.
But hey, we actually, like, Evie does read up on what the flowers do, and it's our first actual apocalypse.
Yay, it's the first, like, I'm surprised this one has, like, very high stakes of, like, the land of the dead coming back to, and infesting the land of the living. It's weird how the episode never feels like they're playing for bigger stakes than usual.
No.
But technically, they are playing for a lot bigger stakes than the previous episodes.
Like, first thing was lack of sleep. And then the second one was just, a
lost soul.
A soul will arrive in the land of the dead. Mm-hmm. Third one is a betrayal of a most loyal friend.
Yep.
Fourth one was, what was it? It was just the blood of the
blood of the
living
family.
Will be spilled. No, the blood of the living will be spilled in the land of the dead.
Land of the dead. The only way to reverse it is if the same blood is spilled.
Four was the dead will start rising, and the fifth was the blood of the living will spill in the land of the dead. Then it's apocalypse full on.
Yes.
And the only way to stop it was to spill the blood of the living family or something.
Very, like, end season of Buffy plot.
Yes.
Like, this would be not out of the realm of possibility of what the Scoobies would be fighting. And it's very just thrown in here in the middle of the season, kind of like, and no one's really treating it like a bigger deal, like, at all. Like,
I mean, to be fair, there's an attempt on their lives every episode, so I mean, does it really matter that it's going to involve other people's lives this time? Like, that doesn't sound terrible, but it's like, well, for us, the stakes are the same.
I don't know. It just felt like it was an odd, like, oh, that's a big scale upgrade from the previous episode, which was just this priest, screwing over people. We didn't even know what his grand plan was. I like the line that Stan does give, like, oh man, my wife would come at people for the Brenner thing. She'd come after him like a Wolverine in spandex. I'm like, oh, like Hugh Jackman? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
We're expecting yellow spandex.
But then, like, we have an apocalypse episode and a seance episode all in one. It's pretty great.
Now, we've got to talk about this one line here that Stan gets. Now, this is a very interesting line for me. And it goes into Stan's mentality a lot, I think. When they talk about doing a seance and asking Claire for help, Stan's response is, and I'm paraphrasing here, that woman never had a moment of peace when she was alive. We're damn sure not going to bother her while she's dead. And I'm like, whoa, that was a very accurate statement. I'm not sure if he's actually acknowledging how much work she did to protect them. Because in the previous episodes, like he never really mentions it at all. Like, never really acknowledges. I think this might be the first time he's actually acknowledging it.
Like, this is actually, like, taking points away from Stan's douchiness, but, like, holy crap, that was actually a nice and proper thing to say about your wife.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he even realized how nice he was actually being.
I don't know.
Maybe he was hiding it because he was being mean to two other people.
Well, true. But then again, it was just kind of like an overstated, don't bother your mother type of line, which is weird, considering you don't usually say that kind of line when your wife is dead, but fine, we'll take it.
Well, I don't know, it's just strange. Like, I realize how strange it is for me for Stan to openly acknowledge the struggle of another person, and to recognize that their contribution to what it was doing, because he was like, that woman never had a moment's peace. She deserves her rest, is basically his main point. And I'm like,
think about it. You had to be a wife plus Buffy?
Yeah, and it's like, it gives me another little moment, and there's a couple of them throughout the seasons. We saw one in the previous episode where Stan sacrifices his hockey stick almost without a thought to save Evie and them. And it's all these little moments.
Or just to spite the priest. Not really sure on that one.
Well, there's always a question, because you're never really sure, but there's little things that make you realize, like, maybe there was a reason Claire likes Stan.
Yeah.
Like, there's something underneath where she could see it, but we're not getting it yet. Like, maybe if you peel back a little bit, there is kind of a good dude under there that does recognize stuff and is not as openly surly as he seems to be. Like, maybe some of this is a put on. Like, that's what
well, I'm sure it is. Like, it almost have to be.
Yeah, I mean, no one's this ridiculous of a stereotype of an old curmudgeon. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting line that they never really go back to, but it speaks volumes to his, character in his relationship with his wife. Like, it shows on some level he got it, and at least even if just a small level, like, he doesn't get it completely, but he gets it on an emotional level. Like, my wife did a lot for me. I don't want to ask any more of her.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty mature for Stan, and he doesn't step on it with another line or joke line later.
He could easily have ruined this by just pointing out the fact that Denise made her work so hard or something like that. Like, it would have been a really easy turn.
Yeah, but no, they just let it stand there. And I really like that line. It gives a little more meat to chew on with Stan's character. I like that they do the seance with a fucking birthday candle. Like, there's not enough actual candles, so there's a little...
How did Claire not have something around to use as a better use?
Come on. Like, and instead of communicating with Claire, they managed to, I guess the seance does not work.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything.
Because the first, stage of the apocalypse happens, where Stan actually gets transported to the world of the dead. Oh yeah, the number 2, which is the lost soul gets transported to the world of the dead.
You know what that means, Nick?
What's that?
That means Stan's the one that gets kidnapped this time around.
Stan is the one that's captured because he needs to take his turn in the world of the dead.
Also, that's bad.
If this is the same dimension which Evie got transported to, I'm not sure. It's not 100% clear. Seems like it. Like,
either way, it's great.
It's in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like down, Purgatory Street, I think. I like that when we see Stan, he's being misled and shown like, oh, it was like all a horrible dream. Claire's still alive, and you get to watch your World War II documentary like you like to do.
And we all know how much you loathe the Italians hanging Mussolini.
That was weird. Like, I do. I do.
And that was like a turn-on line for them. I'm like, okay, that's creepy.
Well, I like to think of that more as Stan, like, you see a lot of relationships where someone knows you so well that it's like, oh, that's why I love you. And it kind of turns into like, yeah, that's why you're kind of sexy to me. It's like, maybe you'll reference a movie that you both like. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, man, I knew there was a reason you were beautiful. That sort of thing.
Right. It's more of an intimacy thing. Still, it involves hanging another human being.
Mm-hmm. Still, it's a weird come-off line where he's that excited about it.
Yeah.
Like,
like, don't get me wrong, Mussolini wasn't a nice person.
Like, I mean, I'm going to give Stan the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he gets sexual gratification from the death of Mussolini. I mean, he could.
I mean, there are worse things, I suppose.
If anything, I'm going to choose to think that he doesn't, because that's weird, and I don't know if I can walk back from that. I like that when we show the inevitable demon, that it's the same demon from the opening.
Yep.
Same witch from the opening, I should say. She's got her eye is still bleeding from the stab wound.
Well, Nick, it's a mystic trowel. Those things probably don't cure on their own.
You'd think she'd wipe away the blood after 6 months. Like, that's... I know it's like, it's so nothing to focus on, because it's like the spirit world, like nothing makes sense there. Like, it's a weird thing to apply logic to. I just thought it was strange that it was not, like, it'd be one thing if it was scarred over, like, right. She's got only one eye, because remember, Claire stabbed her, that'd be continuity. But it's like, no, it's still bleeding like it was just stabbed 5 minutes ago.
Maybe time in the spirit realm works differently. I mean, we already saw
You know what? I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that time moves different there. That's
because we saw, the lady that got, like, in the previous episode that got burned years ago in there.
Maybe it's like that episode of Buffy where she gets trapped in the one dimension. It's like 5 minutes for other people, but like you can spend like 10 or 100 years in there.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, okay, I'll buy it. Evie is trying to figure out what exactly is going on, how she can stop this whole apocalypse thing. So
you know how she does it?
Study montage!
Although, as great as that is, I feel like maybe you should do that before the apocalypse starts. I mean, not to critique their, defending the town plan at all, but
I don't mean to tell you how to do your job, Evie, but
maybe you should try this instead.
I love the study montage. I think it's funny. It's just it should come with a little bit of different music.
Yes,
but
montage man, show up.
I mean, I like Denise in this episode too. She gets a couple good moments. We see her drinking an energy drink.
Yes, we had to actually pause it because I'm like, what does that say?
The energy drink? That is cute. That's like when people drink beer that is like labeled beer.
Mm-hmm.
That generic beer thing. But this one's like it's the generic, even knockoff version of that, of an energy drink. Like
they could have just named it energy drink.
Energy drink.
They went a little further.
Energy drink. It puts the D into your energy. It's gross. So that's pretty cool. Like, they get together to try and do a seance again to try and tell Stan what's going on, because she's studied up on it.
Right. And it works this time. Kinda.
Sort of, but they go about it in the worst possible way.
Because Stan is still watching his World War II documentary, even in the spirit world.
And somehow Evie kind of like guessed this intrinsically, which is weird.
Well, I think Denise actually gives her a line about because she was still watching it. It's like, nope, this is Stan's favorite thing.
And then I guess Evie was just like, oh, he must be watching it in the spirit world then too. And I'm like, that's a weird logic jump, but fine. I guess we got to get this episode rolling somewhere. So she jumps in and communicates him when there's a segment of Hitler. And Hitler starts to speak to Stan. It's like, I'm not actually Hitler. I'm Evie. And
Stan doesn't take that well.
Stan's go, because he's like, so let me just recap on this. I should kill my wife because Hitler told me to when I was watching him on TV. And to the actor's credit, I'm going to look up the actor real quick that's playing Hitler. Because this Hitler delivers the line, and he delivers the line like, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. And he does it with this head nod and this weird hand delivery that is like, whoa, that really reminded me of Janet Varney's delivery.
It's somebody impersonating Evie very well.
Neil Kaninsky is his name. That's the guy who's playing Hitler. Man, he doesn't look like anything like Hitler at all. They did a good makeup job on him. Yeah. He's actually a really good looking guy. I don't know, there was something weird about the physicality of how he delivered that line. I was like, whoa, that was very Janet Varney there for a second. That was really good. Like, I don't know, I really appreciated that small acting because he could definitely, like, he was definitely at least directed to do the line like that. If he didn't watch just like, I wonder if they had Janet do the line.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he basically did it like her to try and get the, performance to match. Cause like that line specifically that's basically the gist of it is it was very convincing. I was just like, whoa, I can totally see Evie giving that, saying that on the other side of this. Anyway, that doesn't work as great as Evie hoped. They come back out of it. I do like how Evie's like, ugh, I wish I had more confidence on how that went. That wasn't great. Hey, what's the next step anyway? She starts asking these. Oh, that's the, a loyal friend will turn on you, or the most loyal of friends will turn on you. And they both kind of look at each other like they let go of hands and just look at each other like, I don't know, like this.
And I was really kind of hoping it would somehow be drink water with this one, just because that'd be funny.
That'd be a stretch for friend.
Yes, it would be, and that's why it'd be funny.
Or loyal. But no, it's actually a dog, because an unsuspecting victim, who I don't think it ever gets named in the episode.
The dog gets named.
It's Pepper.
Yes.
Pepper goes outside to pee with his owner, and he gets turned into what I assume is the dog that was working with the Nothing at the end of the never-ending story.
Sure.
That dog?
Yeah.
Like, I was just expecting, because it was like that black mass in the background. I'm like, oh shit, I've seen this scene. Run, Atreyu, run! But our owner friend, he did not run. Pepper mauls the shit out of him in a pretty brutal fashion.
Yeah. It's actually kind of depressing, because it's like, oh, that dog just killed its owner.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's what makes it sad for me, because it's not like it's it's graphic and it's goofy, but it's like, oh man, this dog is killing its owner. That sucks. Like to get killed by your dog.
And like scientists have basically proven that like when dogs look at their owners, they get like the same amount of chemicals that we do when we see someone we love.
Well, yeah, because they're dumb and can't recognize
they are awesome, beautiful animals, and shame on you.
They are all those things, and very, very stupid.
I love dogs.
Dogs are amazing. I love dogs. I am a dog person, and I recognize how fucking dumb they are.
That's so awesome.
And let me state for the record, Travis, while arguing with me, has not refuted that statement.
They're beautiful, beautiful creatures who sometimes eat their own poo.
And that's on a good day. That's on a good, smart day, because that's them thinking, I'll just clean this up. There I go. I'm a good dog. Yes, you are, Cheddar. Oh, God, you stupid, stupid animal. And yeah, that's why I hate anytime a movie will kill a dog or anything. I'm like, you cheap son of a bitch. Unless it's John Wick and you're gonna kill everyone that was ever involved with that dog murder,
then it's fine.
Then it's cool. Then
it's like still awful. But...
Then that's dog revenge.
Yes.
That's like Taken, but with a dog. That's cool. What were we talking about? Oh, that's right, Pepper.
Oh, we still talk about we get to see Pepper's name tag later.
Yeah, and the Pepper's name tag was literally the more like
it says Pepper on the front and the back says the most loyal of friends.
Yeah, literally what the what you call it?
The prophecy
stated. Yeah. It basically what it said word for word. And even Evie is like, "Oh, good for you, you piece of shit."
Way to go.
Wasn't that a little too on the nose for you? Like she actually starts trash talking the plant. And I like how Drinkwater's like, "What the fuck?" Like, "Oh, that's right. You don't know what's going on."
Smell that.
Yeah, I'm not explaining. I like how she says like, "Oh, that's right. but she does not explain it to Drinkwater at all.
Is it worth it? I mean,
no,
really?
she totally recognizes that he's useless, and it would be a waste of 30 seconds of her time to give the quick rundown of what's happening.
Right. So instead, she's like, "Smell that flower," and of course he does because he's also kind of dumb.
The only good thing explaining it to him would be to help him prevent something happening to him, and she obviously does not care.
Honestly, we should replace Drinkwater with a dog. I mean, same level of intelligence, but way more useful.
Yes, and I would like him more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they should transform Drinkwater into a dog. That might make a more likable character.
I mean, even a cat person would recognize that a dog would be better than Drinkwater.
I did like how Janet smelled the flower though.
Again.
Oh, I already know that smells bad. Why would I smell it again? Meanwhile, Stan's starting to get suspicious in the world of the dead, because he starts asking about where Denise is, and
oh boy, there's a line here.
So fake Claire says to him like, "Oh, she's hanging with friends or whatnot," and I like his response like, "Oh, okay, is she actually staying with friends?" And I'm like,
what?
Wow, that's okay.
I was just expecting more like a line around the lines of "what friends," but no, they took it and just ran with it.
That is sad. That is because they took the sad element of just like a "what friends" element, but then added the weird aspect on top of it that, of course, Denise brings. Like, the thing is about it, what they say it's like, no, I can see it in my mind right now, Denise spooning this garden gnome. And
naming it.
Yeah. Like, it would be, I'm surprised we didn't see her introduce, Murgatroyd to it.
Yeah.
Like, her other friend, the garden gnome. I'm surprised the garden gnome is not a fucking character on the goddamn show. I do like and speaking of weird Denise scenes, because we switch from that to the funeral scenes where we're burying our dog victim, and the next prophecy is the dead rising.
Yes.
We see
this gravekeeper
named Kevin
that Denise knows.
Oh yeah, and it's like, okay, well they know each other, and I'm like, oh, okay, are they like friends? Maybe they flirt sometimes. I'm not sure what's going on. Suddenly, Kevin gives this line. And it is just, okay, so what he says is, oh hey Denise, oh hey Kevin, and it's like kind of cute. I'm like, oh okay, and then Kevin fires back immediately with, and I'm just like that, and they move on from that so quickly, and I'm like, no.
I have to process this.
Pause. That is a lot to unpack there. That is a lot to decompress there. What
you mean decompose?
Decompose. Nice work there. I liked it. What was that? That deserves further
some sort of
investigation.
Yeah.
Like, I like how Evie just ignores, like, no, someone needs to check on Denise and her friend Kevin, because that is a weird serial killish behavior. That is not good.
I mean, he could have just found the skeleton.
I mean, I guess there's a lot of open-ended questions with that will now not be answered.
Yeah. Because
Kevin gets choked by Mr. Collins, who's one of the other grave inhabitants.
Mm-hmm. And just, it's great because like he starts like investing in the grave, and just a hand comes up and grabs him and goes, "Oh man!" Like it's just a minor inconvenience for him.
His delivery is basically the same as Swiper when he's caught in Dora the Explorer.
Yeah,
he's just, oh man.
Like it's you getting gum on your shoe. Like, oh, that's a little inconvenient to my day.
Gosh darn it. And what's even interesting about that is do you know who is playing Kevin? It is the writer of Stand Against Evil, Dana Gould.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't he shown up in a different episode?
He has shown up, and I think in another episode, but I'm on the spot. I can't tell you what he played. Fuck. I think it was another small bit part that he was also in. Ugh. It's gonna come. I'll look it up later. Well, maybe he'll have another segment on the next episode. Like Nick wasn't thinking about this obvious thing. But yeah, I just really liked a lot of that, like that cemetery sequence, which was just like even Evie's question to Kevin was just like, "Hey, has there been any unusual activity around here? Has it been pretty quiet?" And it's like, it's a cemetery.
It's always quiet.
I guess any other response other than "it's a cemetery" would probably tell her what she needs to know.
Yeah.
See what happens after that. I'm still reeling from the squirrel skeleton. I'm going to be completely honest. What is up next? Oh yeah, we get Stan finally realizing that basically the jig is up when Stan starts to realize that his wife is making breakfast for dinner.
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
Which is the one rule.
Mm-hmm.
Her one rule, at least.
And he's like, "Oh, bullshit. I call massive bullshit on this." And he calls her Ida out of nowhere. And it's just like, I'm Claire. And then he fires back with this pretty zinger, like, just like, it was pretty mean. It was
just like, okay, wow, he actually paid attention too.
It cut to the core. Yeah. And also another moment for Stan, he was paying attention to the backstory. Look at that.
Yeah.
Even when Hitler was talking to him, he was absorbing information. Good for Stan. Stan comes off good in this episode. Stan comes off pretty good.
Oh, yeah, as far as I can tell, according to IMDb, the only character that Dana Gould plays is Kevin.
Was he Kevin in the previous episode?
Yeah.
Oh, he might have been in the first episode when they were burying Claire, actually.
Yeah.
He might have been in the background now that I think about it. Yeah. Okay. So, it's a weird, role for him to play too, because it's just like it's this strange weird couple lines role. I mean, I guess it's pretty cute just to have the writer in it. I do like once he delivers that cutting rebuttal, it's like, oh snap, Stan, you gonna let that? Oh, he's already across the table.
Yeah, she knocks him out.
The thing with these witches in this series is they got quite a backhand.
They really do.
Their slap game, their pimp hand is strong.
To be fair, Stan might deserve this one.
Yeah, he was a little shitty. like it was, he wakes up on the kitchen table, about to be murdered, basically. But fear not, because Evie has figured out what needs to be done. Because, well, it's not really that hard of a riddle in particular.
Like, honestly, this is a pretty easily solvable apocalypse.
Not too bad. So she figures like, the same blood must be spilt, so it's like, the family blood. So she goes to Denise, like, I figured out, don't worry, I figured out what we need to do. And she's got this like crazy smile on her face.
Because again, no one has slept in the last however many hours.
So it's like, so she takes off this giant fuck off knife, and it's just like, I love Denise's look on her face like, did I do something wrong?
Nick, I think I solved it. It was Evie with a knife in the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Also becomes a game of Clue. What the fuck?
Mr. Body, that was the owner of Pepper. No way. I didn't know Mr. Body was black. I like the fact that she comes after him as like, hey, can we talk about this? And Evie's response is like, nope.
She starts laughing too.
Nope. And she doesn't start laughing like, I know I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm just so tired. And she just started going loopy crazy when you're up for a long time. And it's really off-putting for Denise, who just doesn't know what to do and just like backs up like, oh god, no.
Then she proceeds to stab Denise in the hand, which like for some reason spurts blood.
And anyway, Stan gets saved at the last second when he's about to get stabbed.
Yes.
So he comes out of there. Evie's like, yes, it worked. Oh, by the way, this is not what it looks like. I know it looks like I'm attacking your daughter. And at that point, I'm like, I don't think Stan really cares.
Yeah, but he's like, you stabbed me. I didn't stab you. I cut you.
Okay, so one, cutting is not better than stabbing, okay? No. 2, Yes, you did stab her.
This was legitimate. Like, it was a stabbing motion into the hand.
No, that was a stab. That was a clear stab. You had it downwards in your hand, downward stab motion. You psychoed that. There was that was the psycho stab.
Yep.
Like, we're gonna call it for the judges. Judges. Okay, it's 3-4 of the judges. We call it a stab. So to one, not one on the Norman Bates judge. He's a little stickler about it. But no, it's. Judges say stab. So Evie,
Evie.
Even in the wrong on that one. We'll have to declare
Denise
you on
wins.
that. So, they finally fall asleep. Stan finally gets to watch his show. He actually sneaks out for a minute to kind of I don't know, is he self-reflecting on the porch? Is he just kind of decompressing?
I don't actually know what he was doing. All I know is that he was polite enough to actually be quiet about doing it.
Yeah, he didn't want to disturb them. He wanted to let them sleep, but he didn't want to continue watching his show. He just needed a moment to himself. I don't know. I think maybe that's loaded because maybe he just, he did just it was a trick, but he did talk to his wife for the longest time. Maybe that fucked with him a little more than I thought it might.
Yeah.
I thought once it revealed to be a trick, I thought he'd be like, oh, okay, well then fuck that. None of that was real.
But until she revealed who she was, it was kind of his dream. It would be what he wanted,
Yeah, he wanted things to go back to normal, and that was his dream. Mm. So maybe that hit him harder than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Maybe Stan's a little more sensitive than we first thought. So he takes a moment to take a little breather, goes back into the house, and we see dun 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 Pepper.
Oh, I had to put dog name Pepper.
Insert nothing reference here. It's the nothing. I thought we were gonna see the Chromass guy again, but apparently he's took the day off. He sent apparently he was dog walking or something. His dog actually took his spot on this one. So yeah, that was episode 5, Ouija Bored. So what do we think of this episode overall?
Well, again, the only person to win Worst Person Award is technically Hitler.
So Hitler wins by default because Drinkwater cannot compete with Hitler in this particular episode. Maybe in some of the other episodes, but on this one, he gets to slide on past, and Hitler gets to take it for the win. Other than that, it's a very... I like this episode. There are a couple things about it that make it, maybe not one of my top 5 or anything like that. It's what keeps it from being, I think, truly great is just that they up the stakes to such a degree, but it never really feels like the stakes are all that upped. It feels like a pretty much standard episode.
Well, I mean, even when we see the dead start rising, and Kevin just goes, "Oh man."
Yeah. I like the idea of them not having slept, like them being all kind of nuts and crazy from not sleeping. Although it seems that comes in and out.
It does. It really is just more there for the jokes.
Mm-hmm. And it's very convenient on when that is brought up. Like it comes in near the end where Evie's really tired and they can't really focus on stuff. Or during the study montage where she needs to keep drinking coffee. But otherwise, they only play with it when it's convenient for them to play with it, and rather than keeping it consistent. Which is by no means a huge problem. It's still it's a comedy show, so I don't expect them to keep so literal to the rules. But it's an interesting element to bring up and then not do so much, but so much with it. Mm-hmm. You'd figure with them having such lack of sleep, there'd be a lot of comedic elements you could take with it.
Hallucinations, them just nodding off and people talking.
Well, I think maybe it's just with a 22 minutes episode, maybe there's just a little too much going on in this episode.
Yeah.
There's the transportation to the spirit realm. There's the seances. There's the
flowers opening.
The flowers opening. There's Kevin and his weird shit. There's the Pepper, the dog, who basically gets forgotten about. It's just oh my god, we created a whole new creature to fight, and then that was just for that scene, and we never see that Pepper again
until the last scene,
until the very last scene. By that point, where I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that thing is around.
I would just assume that once the apocalypse ended, that would fix itself. But...
I mean, I guess I assumed that too, just because that's how it normally works.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how it usually goes.
Poor Pepper.
I don't know, so again, a fun episode. I do like how Evie comes off very proactive, very smart in this episode.
She doesn't get captured. She only does one really dumb thing about smelling the flower the first time.
Really liked the Hitler communication. I thought that was very funny.
Great.
I thought that was a great moment. This whole episode was that was basically the highlight of the episode for me, is just Evie
Hitler telling Stan to kill his wife.
Yeah, and it's so surreal and weird that I'm like, it's an image that like is stuck with me. And when we went to go rewatch the episode, I'm like, I don't remember a whole lot about this one except for flowers and Hitler. Like I remember Hitler very specifically, but I don't remember a whole lot else like about it. And it did not disappoint, because I was just like, yeah, that Hitler part's pretty awesome.
I don't know, I seem to remember most of the Denise parts of this episode.
So those I forgot about. Because honestly, none of that shit, like all of Denise's shit is also segregatedly weird. Like it never culminates into one giant theme, because she just gets, and there's more in the episodes to come, to be sure, but they're always so different that you never get a real feel for what the fuck is going on with Denise. Like
Spoon and Guard Gnomes and Squirrel Skeletons.
Sure, but like Spoon and Guard Gnomes, like, oh, that's kind of sad and kind of weird. But then the skeleton squirrel thing is like, whoa, that is a different level.
At least she wasn't spooning it.
Yeah, like that. You see that's a different level there. Like that is weird. That is concerning on a very real level right there. I don't know. I mean, again, it was super fun. I really enjoy seeing Claire for basically the first time in her full glory. That's really fun. I'm hoping in the next season we get to see a little bit more of her, because there's just not a whole lot of her in this season.
Which we should mention that today, as the day that we are recording this, is the day the first episode of the second season is actually going to play.
Oh yeah, we're way farther behind than I further planned. We transferred. We got a new computer. We were transferring over some audio files, and some shit got lost in the transfer.
Plus there's trying to communicate with Les to get the episodes set up.
Well, the reason that because we lost one or two of Les's audio files in the begin with, and we need to. He still has them, so it's like it's not a question of like, oh, we need to re-record an episode. I just need to get into the editing bay and like pour these out actually. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how these actually play in, like when you're listening to these, because we're recording them all up front. It'll be how all our theories of season 2 will basically be debunked by the time this even goes up.
Right.
So
a little awkward. It's fine.
I don't even want to speculate that much, because I know like half of my shit's gonna be wrong by the time people are even listening to this.
Just be like, well, duh, you're fucking wrong, and you can just look that up. Like, shut up. Go fuck yourself.
Well, speaking of shutting up, I think it's time for us to wrap this one up. Finally, time to go to sleep. I'm gonna take the sleep. Munchkins. Oh shit! Munchkins. That's right. We never mentioned the Munchkins. The whole Munchkin thing was that Denise wanted to talk to the dead people. She was very obsessed with the Munchkins
because it's Denise.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we got distracted with the squirrel skeleton, but also the Munchkin thing's a little weird.
So much to unpack for Denise's episode.
Yeah, Munchkin thing's also a little weird.
Jumbo Wumba.
All the Oompa Loompa and fucking Munchkin war. So many casualties. But yet we saved on coffins. It was weird. On coffin space.
Their blood is cream soda.
Alright, we're just wrapping it up here. I don't know how to transition out. Okay, if you would like to check us out, some of our other back catalog here on iTunes, go do that. Subscribe to Pod Against Evil. Give us a 5-star review. Those help us out with now I'm thinking about fucking Chumbawamba Wars. It's not working.
And the Chumbawamba War.
Hey, if you want to give us a 5-star review and write in your own version of who you think would win in the Munchkin versus Oompa Loompa War, we would like to hear your theories. That is for sure. Or what do you think the Munchkins would actually say if we were to contact them via a seance?
Probably just sing a song.
It'd be weird. You could definitely do that, or you can check out our regular episode of the Unapologetic Geek Out podcast over on the UGO podcast and iTunes. You can subscribe to us on Twitter at Pod Against Evil. You can check us out on Facebook. Email us at podagainstevil@gmail.com. Les is not with us today, but if you want to go check out his stuff at the TV Dudes, he does a weekly TV commentary over on that site, or his new site, which by this point will be up and running, The Good Die Young, in which he, deconstructs some TV shows that were just too pretty to live.
Those own words.
First one starting off is Middleman, which is a great TV show that more of you should know about. So definitely give it a listen. Other than that, we're going to wrap it up here. And finally, go to sleep. Breakfast dinner. Brenner. Oh my god, no.
Not the eggs.
Oh, the eggs.